hand. Chiefs have really struggled in Oddball so far this tournament. They do get a little bit better when games 2 and 5 come around. The Slayers have been more comfortable for Chiefs, but they've very rarely seen that game 5. Things haven't gone too well for them. So early on, I'm expecting SSG to take a lead, but from what we've seen from Chiefs in their own region, there's so much talent on this squad. It just seems like they're a step behind the pace of some of these NA teams.
Chiefs then, they're regional champions, down under. Looking to get a win here, smash and grab, up against Spacestation Gaming, who have not been soaring high in the pool play.
They haven't, but they need a win. They cannot afford to slip here against Chiefs, otherwise there will be a lot of questions asked. Can SSG make sure they do not slip on that banana skin? Or are we going to see Chiefs maybe have the upset of a lifetime, taking down an NA team in pool play? Streets is a very difficult map to navigate at times, but I'm sure all 8 of these players are prepped and ready, and I can't wait for it.
A player I want to keep an eye on, have a fantastic series here and prove he deserves to be on this spot. There was a lot of question marks over him when he was first put onto the roster. It's going to be Tylenul.
Tylenul is an incredible Slayer, an incredible all-round player as well. I'm expecting big things from him here on Streets. Look for him to be trying to flank quite often, taking a lot of individual fights. It's very difficult to win in an individual engagement versus him. I'm expecting him to always be looking for those scraps.
And here we go then, shields up, weapons hot. We're right into this thing. Fight down on Neon straight away.
I want to see Chiefs play with intention here, play aggressive, try and match the pace of Spacestation Gaming. It's something that we've really seen international teams struggle with, is the pace of play. But from the beginning, Spacestation, they rip through Chiefs, they get the ball, they get the rockets, they've got all the goodies you could possibly want here.
They've come from a land down under. Well, nobody wants to bite that Vegemite sandwich, I can tell you that.
I would. I like Marmite. Vegemite are supposedly very similar, so I would happily go to Australia and have a little bite. In early stages though, 25-26, it's already looking pretty dismal for Chiefs, and you can't just walk straight into an area where you have no idea where those rockets are. You've got to play a little bit more passive, and at the moment, this is just lambs to the slaughter.
All 4 dead for the Chiefs. Need to slow things down, move together. Cannot be strolling on up to the ATM machine, particularly when you forgot your bank card. There will be no cash reward for this. 45 seconds already and counting. Spacestation is looking cruise control.
Nice entry kill though from Barcode. That at least gives them the chance now to try and push and disrupt this setup. And actually they steal the ball away. So good job from Chiefs. They weren't upset and disrupted by the fact that Spacestation had such a good start. They were able to calm themselves down and get a solid push off the back of it.
Killing spree for Tylenul. Already locking in 5, yet to register a single death here. And him and his bulldog are on the hunt. Bark, bark. Down goes Madsy. Rockets will be popping up very shortly. But this is looking dominant.
It is, and I think that this is what Chiefs didn't want to see. Spacestation getting that ball into Station. And, they're called Spacestation for a reason. They're comfortable in certain areas, and it does seem like setting up here in Tram, they are having more than enough ball time that they can require. And it just seems like they're waiting for Chiefs to either push down Pink or push down through that B side over towards Arcade. And they're prepared for every single push. They're watching all these angles so well.
Barcode picks up 2. Australia's shining light is Barcode. Always gets a lot of love. Everyone recognizes him as the best player around, but he needs his teammates to step up here.
He was on the winning side of the All-Star game yesterday, and he did tweet out saying, hey, at least I won something at this tournament, but I'm sure he would love to come away with a series win in pool play, but at the moment, it's not looking too good. But I tell you what, a little bit of ball time has been scrapped here by Chiefs. They've been able to set up ever so slightly, but Kuhlect just walked into Station for free. He didn't even buy a ticket. He's hopped the barrier and said, you know what, I'll take the ball, it's mine.
We mentioned how it's cruise control. Let's see if the communication is just that. We've got an Astro listening.
Front C going front C now.
Watch out, watch out.
There's two. They both jump up. Watch out, Madsy. There's 2 legs.
Another driveway, watch out.
One back in middle. Going down.
He's gonna be heady. Be heady.
Trash is probably gonna come here. He's running free. I don't have.
We spawn be heady, guys. ATM. Get in C.
On Shotty Wing Cafe, Madsy.
Spawn to ATM.
I'm doing it. Okay, back to you.
Kuhlect, you're on your own. Come back there. I'm on my way.
Top C, watch out. More back C. Look at shotgun on it. And buy me B-Series. I have 1.7. Back seat, so right? I got
Bring it up straight.
watch out. This ball.
ATM weak. Find a position. ATM. Pink. Watch out, pink stairs. Watch out, pink.
Two bottom, one jump in front of me.
Just mid.
Two ATM. I'm watching your front. Front pushing, you want it?
Watch out, IP.
Two units on there. Over there. Stop.
Some tires. I'm looking at rockets. Rockets right now.
Watching.
Rocket.
Run it. He's on it.
Well, what we can hear is clear communication from these. It's more conversational. It's not stressing call-outs. It's clean.
And it's round one going in favor of Spacestation Gaming, and there's a little cheer from the crowd. Seems like there's a bit of a fan base here in Spacestation. They need to put on a show now, and it was business when we went into that listening. It was not, we're just gonna fly through this series. We're gonna not maybe take this seriously. No, complete focus. Let's get the job done. Let's show why we are still a team that is gonna threaten this pool.
Rocket launcher then drops down onto tiles just beside a garbage bag, and now Spacestation Gaming are trying to take out the trash here. What can Pipz do though? A lot of pressure on their shoulders, carrying the hopes of an entire region on their shoulders.
I'd say Chiefs want to keep that ball away from the station area. Try and play over towards tower. See if that goes a little bit better for you. And at the moment, they've got the opening 12 seconds. The ball is on this side of the map, and they're getting the Slayz as well. Pipz performing far better here, and that's what you need to see. Some of these players stepping up. Barcode had a great round one, but the rest of the squad, they were a little bit lackluster. But now it seems like they're starting to build in confidence here. They're enjoying the engagements. They're taking these fights.
Pressure is off. 25 seconds scored now off that initial control. They had got a 4 dead, and they've made them pay. They've already racked up a quarter of the points they need to take round 2 here. Madsy and Barcode pick up a couple, but Ace, the experience, answers with a double.
Man walks in, picks up a double kill, and that ball is heading straight over back towards Tram as well. That's probably not a good sign, because if Spacestation do successfully have a push here, get control of ball, then that could be another 30-40 seconds, just as we saw in round number 1 here. But it does seem like Chiefs are playing with more confidence in round number 2. It's like they just woke up a little bit. They said, guys, why are we playing scared? We have nothing to lose here. Let's start pretending that these are some of the guys who are in our region that we, we eat for breakfast, we eat for dinner. It doesn't matter what time of day it is, we are going to be gobbling them up.
Ace then looking to break this setup, but lovely shots coming out of Slayz. And that's what they need. Keeping Spacestation on a goose when it comes to the point total in round 2. Tylenul looking to change things. Lands a haymaker. Positions himself over towards Commando, but now we're seeing Barcode with the boombox over his shoulder, but not for long.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the grenade just deflected that rocket, but at least Pipz is able to recover, but not quite fire. So 1 rocket going to be available for Ace and Spacestation. And even though they're behind at the moment in points, they do get 3 or 4 dead here off Chiefs. Ball gets reset, and now it's a chance for Spacestation to try and take control of this map here, because Spacestation have been on the back foot throughout this entire round. We've not seen them really in control.
Still 33 seconds then. Barcode and Pipz pick up 2. Tylenul answers back, 3 dead. Ace the last man alive. But it's a 2v1 on the map, and this should mean points. And does mean points for the Chiefs.
And I wonder if Spacestation start to worry a little bit now they're looking at that points total. They're saying, hey, we're expected to 3-0 this team of Chiefs. Regardless of the fact that they're an open team, I still think Spacestation the favourites in this series. But Chiefs are now playing far better in terms of how they're rotating around. They are avoiding Spacestation like they're the plague. And even though Spacestation are getting some really big kills, it's not enough to get any ball time at the moment.
Getting kills only reset the map, but when Chiefs spawn back up, they're looking for some more business. 48 seconds now to 0. Ace tries to shut down Barcode. Eventually the job will be done by Rammyy, who picks up 2 in the feed. But can they build upon this now?
They're going to have to. Finally, they get their hands on the ball. And it's going to be set up over towards tower. Rocket's also going to be up in the next 30 seconds as well. So that's something for all of these teams to be thinking about. There's been a lot of P control from Chiefs. They've done very well at stopping Spacestation to be able to push freely throughout the middle of the map. All these angles have been successfully watched.
There was 3 dead for a moment for Spacestation. The Chiefs seen far more success in round 2. Barcode, ball in hands, racking up them points for his team, rotating expertly here.
Rockets have just popped and they've been picked up. And it's going to be Pipz who was able to grab them as well. So this is all looking good for Chiefs, except the fact Pipz has gone down. But tell you what, that is very quick and fast response Get him on 999 emergency, because he'll be there fast enough to help you out.
Will they answer the phone though? Will they answer that call? 61 to 10. But now, Spacestation have got that ball down. That's exactly where you didn't want it to be back in Tram.
You don't want it in Tram, but I think Chiefs have done enough now that they are going to be able to know how to actually break into Tram. And I tell you what, a Bulldog is going to be the perfect way to try and assist you in those up close and personal fights as well. But I like this from Barcode. He doesn't just throw himself into Tram. Instead, he knows there's someone still hanging around Arcade, and he wants to try and stop them from playing any games.
Desperately trying to find somebody, but now willing to slow it down just a touch. Crouching in the corner. Waiting for the communication from his team. Kuhlect's going to be the first point of contact, but that now leaves Barcode in a world of hurt. He will get eliminated. 2 go down for the Australians now. Slayz picks up 1 though. Shut down by Rammyy, who desperately tries to live. Madsy though will ensure that is not a possibility. 3 dead. Kuhlect last man alive.
I think Spacestation are just in shock right now. They did not expect Chiefs to come out into this second round this quick, but early domination, early kills, Chiefs have just built from that. Kill after kill, slay after slay. They're almost starting to believe that they can actually take this game to Spacestation, and that's what they needed. They needed that belief. You can't just assume that every North American team is gonna destroy you like they had previously in other tournaments. This Chiefs roster is the real deal.
Tylenul, Barcode, cleans that up. Slayz, double kill for him. They only need 10 more points to close out round 2 and tie up this oddball game. Spacestation through Ace, trying to stop that here, and he's done that so successfully as Slayz starts to rotate over towards that ball. Tylenul, not long for this world. And Ace back Tram. The Bulldog should and does solidify that kill.
And what a night and day performance this has been from both teams. Ball is grabbed, a few more seconds, and Chiefs are going to put a round on the board. And I tell you what, this is not going to be a walkover for Spacestation Gaming. They might have thought it after that early round, but the Chiefs have woken up and they are here to play.
Round 3 then. Fight. Barcode up at the tires. Has his sights set on rockets, and that's some beautiful business out of him. He rotates towards Neon, picks up 2. Screaming, where are they? 3 for Barcode.
Give it!
Oh! Shut down by Ace.
So close, but I tell you what, it's enough to get control of the ball. Madsy will come up and clean things through. And the Chiefs are starting to heat up to a scary, scary point for Spacestation. They are going to be worried, and they need to cool this Chiefs roster off ASAP. Get some water on it, get a flannel on it, anything to shut down this fire.
They have that ball on Tram Station, and what was a safe haven for Spacestation only a couple of rounds ago. All of a sudden, the Chiefs have moved in and made themselves right at home.
Doing it in their own house. They've walked in, they've made a cup of tea, they've used the sugar. It was the last bit of the milk as well. And now Pipz, he's got the Bulldog to work with here in tires. Okay, it's a shame that you get hit by the grenade, but at the same time, the fact he was able to get the ball out of the range of Spacestation, very important.
There was 3 dead for a moment for Spacestation. But now Chiefs on the back foot. Looking to play defense. Tylenul not interested in picking up the ball. More interested in slaying and making sure these will be cleaner points than they could have been with a double kill. Now they will pick up that ball in the shape and form of Ace. But he's being pressurized by Slayz, traded out, and now Tylenul with the Bulldog in the back pocket will control the PD. Chief Wiggums has checked in.
Are Chiefs going to be in a position that if Spacestation, you know, wrestle back that control we saw in round 1, will they just struggle to the point where they don't know what to do once more? In round 1, they didn't know how to push, how to break the setup. But I think as long as the ball is in these kind of more different areas, less setup-y areas, and at least Chiefs should have a chance to try and make this a little bit scrappy, but Spacestation, at least they're getting a good amount of time if you're a Spacestation fan.
That police department, a little bit of a fortress at times. What can Chiefs do? They have to fight uphill now. Pipz and Kuhlect do trade. The 3v3 ball has been dropped. Focus on the Slayz. Speaking of him, he picked up 2 in the feed. Ace last man alive. No longer. More ball time for the Chiefs.
Where's Kuhlect? He's the last player. Or he's the first player off spawn, but I think he's probably just waiting to be joined, and Rammyy gets the actual initial opening frag. The rockets are firing!
Oh! Those rockets. We'll have to get them checked on. Fire and duds, nothing but smoke in there. We will see as Ace, he works out how to fire them and picks up 2. Tries to drop the shield, but it won't pop quick enough.
Rear down though for Spacestation again. It's a 1 versus 1 here. Tylenul will get the better of Barcode. And Spacestation stay on top ever so slightly. 40 to 20. Chiefs still in it in this round, and they are making Spacestation work for this one. I think that Chiefs just need to be careful they don't start getting too excited for that ball. They don't start running one by one, otherwise Spacestation are a team who will punish them.
In round 2, did Spacestation take their eye off the ball as they allowed Chiefs to dictate the pace of play? But how Tylenul's changing that here. Killing spree.
And when you think back to round 2, it was Bulldog control for Chiefs. It's going the other way now for Spacestation. That Bulldog has been in the hands of a Spacestation player for the majority of this round, and you can see how it's helping them. A lot of these tight corners on streets that you turn and you get greeted by another player. To have a Bulldog in your hand is so important.
Tylenul locking down top commando for his team. Needs a little bit of help from his team, but Rammyy picks up 1. The Australians get 2. But I tell you something, Tylenul is not messing around here.
Yeah, he jumps the Bulldog, gets a Stalker rifle. It doesn't matter what is in his hands at the moment. He's got it all to work with. And Spacestation have been scoring this whole time as well. They're up to 65 points. And off spawn, Chiefs look a little bit distorted. They're kind of not together. They haven't been able to regain that structure that we saw in round 2.
Rockets pop, barcode, drop, shield goes down. I love that from them. A little bit of ingenuity.
We've seen it ever since the drop ball came into the equation for Halo Infinite. How can we use it? Where can we put it to help us? But barcode, this time the Rockets work, gets the double kill. And unfortunately, a couple of his teammates fall, but Pipz has been able to just sneak in, grab this ball. This scrappy time could really help out.
65 to 27. They need all the scrappy time they can get. 1v1 against Ace. The experienced. He backs down. Back whack though, Pipz. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Ace last man alive, and last time the players seen him, he was over towards tram station.
It's such an even game across all 3 of these rounds, by the way. 104 kills in favor of Chiefs, 102 in favor of Spacestation. It's not like Chiefs look second best at the moment. If anything, they look on par with SSG. And that is going to be amazing for this ANZ squad. We're probably coming into this series hoping they could really make a difference. With 1:55 on the clock, still plenty of time to get back into this round.
70 seconds then for Spacestation. The Chiefs can ill afford to make many more mistakes here. Spacestation are already taking control. They're heading into orbit. Bulldog gets 1. Not good for 2 though. Now ball down bottom middle, but Madsy's gonna be the latest one to hit the respawn screen as Ace locks in Pipz for a double. Eyes set for the triple. Will he get it? Yes, he will. Gets shut down.
Maybe a lack of communication there from the Chiefs. I don't think Ace should have been allowed to do that, but once more, it's the Bulldogs being the biggest influencer to why kills are happening in quick succession. 85 points on the board, and maybe one last push here for Chiefs to try and save this game.
10 seconds remaining. Rockets in 5. They will not have enough time to play for it though. Kuhlect gets 1, as does barcode though. And now Ace scrambles away with the ball, only requiring 5. Has 1 to get in with.
Oh, Ace!
Troy Eukin! Spacestation take round 3. 1-0 up in the series.
It wasn't easy. And SSG don't look particularly overjoyed with the victory. It's business. They know they're expected to win this one. As for the Chiefs, they can hold their heads up high. That was a fantastic performance. They really took it to SSG. In fact, it was pretty even on the Slayz. There's only 1 kill difference between the 2 teams across the 3 rounds. This is not going to be, you know, a swift 3-0 that might have happened in the past with ANZ teams against North American teams. Chiefs are going to take it to SSG. They're going to make them work for this.
Not a walk in the park. But now the Chiefs, what can they do to bounce back? They've come a long way. They're a long, long way from home. How they desperately want to get a win on the board here.
Yeah, we've heard in interviews, you know, barcode, he's a superstar. And look, he's waving towards the crowd as well. I love it. He was in the All-Star game. This barcode player, you know, he's
a personality.
He is a personality, and he's such a loved community person as well.
Yeah.
In the entirety of the ANZ region, he is dear to their hearts, right? But he wants to prove himself on the international stage even more so. And he's got a team behind him now. The platform's there.
Yeah.
It's ready. It's waiting, and they were so close in that game 1. But as a team, how do you kind of take that? Because it's so annoying to be so close in game 1, but yet so far, right? You got the round, but unfortunately, that 3rd one just slipped away from you. I do think, though, they have nothing to lose, and I think they will just put that one behind them and say, hey, you know, we just took SSG to a round 3 in Oddball. Imagine what we can do in a Slayer. This is a very exciting time for the Chiefs.
separated by only 1 kill across the 3 rounds. It was that close. As we head into that Slayer, we look at these highlights, excuse me. Recharge Slayer's game 2. This is going to be the best chance for the Chiefs to bounce back.
Yeah, when you look across what Chiefs have done in this tournament, I said that Oddball wasn't a great game type for them. They haven't been able to find that success. Actually, they played a lot better than I expected them to, considering what's happened so far. They start to get a little bit better when you get through this series. I mean, Slayer is a far more comfortable game type for them, so I'm really expecting them to have some success.
Here is the D stream. That's at a game 5. The Knights, the LATAM regional champions, up against Built by Gamers, the open team that's entered into that pool to cause a little bit of ruckus.
A little bit of a ruckus, and I tell you what, they've taken them all the way to game 5, but it's 44-36 at the moment. Knights firmly in control with an 8-kill lead, only needing 5, make it 4 more to win this series 3-2. The Knights have impressed me so much this tournament. I think a lot of teams didn't really expect them to perform in the way they have done, but they are making a lot of noise here in this pool.
Tapping bullets, his reputation precedes him, but other players have stepped up around him in that region. Bullet in particular, look at them kills, dragging his team into game 5 when they need him most.
3 more kills, 2 more kills, and I think Built by Gamers are just a little bit too far behind. We've seen some incredible comebacks, but even I don't expect this to go much further, and it does not. Knights will win that one 3-2 then, and they carry on with their impressive performance through this tournament. As for BBG, I tell you what, they're having a good tournament as well. I think they are going to make some big waves in that elimination bracket here in Championship Saturday and Sunday. We will go back to our main feature game now, and it's a chance for the Chiefs to try and make up for that loss in round 1. SSG, though, it's business. There was no celebration after they won that one. They know it was far too close.
They stayed fully composed, no celebration, barely even a fist bump at the end of game 1. Maybe a little bit irked that game 1 was a bit harder than they first anticipated.
Yeah, it was too hard. Like, it should have been a 2-0. If you look at the players on the Spacestation roster, what they've achieved in the past and what is expected of them, they should be blitzing through this series. But the Chiefs have proved that this is not going to be easy whatsoever for Spacestation. But game 2 is going to be Recharge Slayer. I do think the Chiefs perform better in Slayers than they do Objectives, but you can say exactly the same thing about Spacestation. You've got one thing to focus on, and it's killing your opponent.
Game 2 then. The stage is set. Spacestation Gaming looking to double their series lead. We're underway then, and it's going to be Ace.
Camouflage is always going to be the early contest, and the first one very important because you can really pick up and snowball out of control if you get hold of it. 3 kills go in favor of Spacestation, make it 4, and that camouflage should be the reward. And unfortunately, Chiefs find themselves in exactly the same position they did in round number 1 of Oddball, where they have to come back from quite a significant deficit.
5-1. Ace almost rounds the corner and gets away with that camouflage. It will drop down though, and his teammates will be aware of that, but perhaps Barcode is too. Hyper aware and knows how desperate his team needs it. Trying to scrape away, but Ace comes back for more.
Importantly, he does burn it though. At least you don't allow Spacestation with the early lead that they have to really snowball out of control by taking the camo, but Tylenul has a shock rifle, and we've seen throughout the Pro Series and previous tournaments that he can really do some damage with this weapon in hand. We are seeing a little crawl of a comeback though from the Chiefs.
Tylenul opts not to fire his weapon, goes for an all-out brawl instead, but now that shock rifle has landed in the hands of a very grateful man. Barcode looking to fry some brains. Ace and Rammyy though have picked off 2 of his teammates. It's a 2v2 on the map. The game slows down just a touch.
In the All-Star match yesterday, Barcode had the biggest smile as he watched Lucid headshot onto Renegade for a double kill to finish that All-Star game. Barcode said, hey, I think I could have done that as well. Well, now you prove it. Almost hits 1, does at least tag with the body shot. As you say, it's come to a slight standstill here. This is what happens sometimes on Recharge. Slayer! And that's what we expect from ANZ's finest.
With the game slowing down just a touch, let's have a little sneak peek listen in to the boys on Chiefs.
Nice. Lady bottom tower, it last one? Yeah,
He's
we're on
two
two bottom.
Charlie.
Are they Charlie, man?
Yeah, this guy bottom tower.
No, man.
Nice guys, that's one dead.
Nice.
Watch it, one main got it. Yeah, he's one shot.
One shot. I'm
One main got it. Two top main, guys, watch out. I've got the spawn goal, spawn goal.
Who's top man?
Who's top main? I'm gonna see.
I'm gonna realize. Watch out, watch out.
I'm working, yeah. Two guys.
Watch out.
You guys good? Still one.
He's
Check one main got.
now they got to the tower as well. They're gonna have weapons there.
Yeah.
It's just one guy. He's got swords on.
Watch out.
Yeah,
We can try fight. This guy top C.
I'm watching. Heaven right now. Heaven trying to get to you. Flying bridge as well.
He's watching me.
They're doing that. Coming out.
Kill two. There's another last two. He's got sword on you, I guess. Nice. Last guy in A, guys. I'm gonna be seeing C. I'm seeing you C.
Watch out on the stairs.
Wait, there's guys on me as well. There's guy weak on me. Top goal. One shot. Guys.
Still
glass and bottom A. He's bottom A. He went elevator. Nice, Madsy.
I'm looking long here.
Yeah, battle edge. He's got.
It's still like bottom angle.
Just do it, guys. Just do it. I'm with you, Madsy. I'm with you. I'm seeing. I'm going to push me.
It's amazing to hear the contrast in communications between the two teams. Spacestation, cool, calm, and collected. The Chiefs seem to thrive on a little bit more of a frantic comms.
Yeah, they sounded mental. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
it was one of those. I could not hear a thing that was happening. They tried to, interject with one another to say, "Hey, let's push this," or "We need to try and do that." But they almost got flooded with, "There's a guy over here, guy over there. I've got a double kill. I need to do that." But you know what? It works for some teams. And Ace also working hard to pick up that double.
Ace picking up 2. Rammyy also picking up 2. And those two teammates complementing each other extremely well. A 10-kill advantage coming off the listening. Camouflage, shock rifle, sword. They have all the cookies. They just need some cream.
Should have been one, could have been one, but now you've given position away. That's a chance for the Chiefs to try and push up on this. You want to take the shock rifle out of their hands and try and get it back into Barcodes, because we saw what Barcode was able to do. But Barcode gets a taste of his own medicine.
Jiggle peek, headshot, fade away, no scope! And when you're hitting shots like that, it's a tall order for the Chiefs to come back.
The shock rifle has been so dangerous in so many hands throughout HCS. We're starting to see some incredible things being done. It even does damage, and of course the shock damage that can be spread not just between players but weapon pads as well means it is just the absolute necessity of a weapon to be picking up on recharge.
42-29 then. Kuhlect, Walshy spoke about before the game. Now all he needs to do is focus on winning his 1v1 engagements and minimizing mistakes. And how he has done that so far. Barcode desperately wants to be hanging with these big teams. But unfortunately, they're down the Slayer here. And they're knocking on the door of going down 2-0 in the series.
Oh, a little bit of teabagging as well. We don't know. No, come on, this
No.
ENC guys.
No, you can't do that to them.
They're the friendliest bunch around.
They're all teddy bears.
Maybe it's just friendly bagging. That's the thing, right?
Is there such thing?
I think there is.
I mean, Bilbo bagging is pretty friendly.
That's very true. Except when he's got the ring.
He doesn't like the ring.
No, yeah, he turns terrifying then. 46-33. And it's just about wrapped up here for Spacestation Gaming. Camouflage as well, just to try and put a bow on it.
3 kills then. Rammyy and Tylenul, the last 2 on the map. And here is one of the 2. Sights out on Barcode. Shock rifle does the initial damage. Battle rifle will do the final. And now Rammyy. His team only need 1. And he's opted to go down bottom and low. But in the end, Ace is the one to get that final kill. The captain, the experience. They're 2-0 for the series.
Pure business. I saw a fist bump.
Oh, watch out.
A little bit of celebration from SSG, because that one was far more comfortable than map number 1. And it's starting to lean closer towards a potential 3-0 now. But Chiefs, they just have to, again, tick that one off. Say, look, we gave it a good effort in the early stages. We got some really important kills. But as you got into that business end of the map, that's when Spacestation really showed their experience. And now going into map number 3, I think Chiefs, they've just got to try and dig deep here. don't allow it to get into your brain of thinking, you know, it's going to be a 3-0. Otherwise, you are probably already losing before you even get into it.
Game 2 in the books then. Spacestation Gaming, business as usual. And as we do look at some of those highlights, it started off so hot for Barcode. It was close for large portions, but towards the middle stages of that game, the particular camouflage play, it all went Python.
Yeah, when the camouflage was down in bottom middle, Chiefs at times were maybe too antsy to try and get down there and pick it up, and they almost did SSG a favor by popping it into their chest and just getting rid of it, and SSG didn't have to worry about it from that point onward. But once SSG had a 8 to 10 kill lead, I don't think there was any looking back for them. It was just purely about getting that job done and sending them to map number 3.
Well, the ink in this story is starting to dry. Game 2, 50 to 36, dominating. Far more Slayz separating them this time around. And with Strongholds live fire on the horizon, what way do you see this one go?
I think that, you have to lean towards Spacestation now. They've shown the experience. They've shown that they can close out games even when Chiefs are playing extremely impressive. Sniper rifle going to be very important as well. Tylenul showed what he can do with a shock rifle. Barcode showed what he can do with a shock rifle. Let's see what they can do with a sniper instead, as there's some good stats for you. Chiefs, they have a really good record when it comes to ANZ on live fire Strongholds, but North America, it's a different kettle of fish.
Spacestation on match point then. One more Strongholds game. The Chiefs desperately clinging on. They're on the ropes. Just one punch away from ending pools with no wins.
You can already see just the pace at which Spacestation want to play this game. Kuhlect's going to be the first person to get hands on the sniper rifle, and it always seems to be responsibility. Sniper rifle in your hands, let's watch the power up. But you've got to hit those shots, even just a body shot, to try and give your team the advantage.
Fires a couple, and Madsy is fully aware. And that one will land on the body. And that's all Kuhlect had to do, was hit that shot. Teammates have fallen though. I'd like to see him scamper away if he can, play a little bit of defense. He's put it into reverse. Drops down back tower. Barcode though reads the game perfectly.
Well, at least they've got that camouflage after working so far hard for it and having to put their bodies on the line here. Chiefs got the early points and they're rotating well, but this is a lot of responsibility for Pipz. You've got to quietly go about your business.
Ace then, not comfortable. Pipz will come in and get that kill, but down to no shields. The Ace done the damage he needed to.
Do you think a 1-for-1 trade is good enough with the camouflage? I guess you've done your job a little bit, but at the position he was in, I feel like maybe you could have done a little bit more. But perhaps he was expecting more of assisting work from the team.
I think a bit more patience, he gets that back whack, but maybe that's the situation when they're in. Desperation at times. They have got control of A, but Spacestation recognizing that and immediately turns C over. 34 points to 19, and the score slowly but surely starting to rack up here. 3 go down for the Chiefs. Backs against the wall.
Yeah, it could be a trip cap here. And Spacestation will really now start to dig the grave of the Chiefs here and look to toss them in and close this one up, seal this series, start to think about playing against Cloud9 in this bracket. That would be Spacestation's next game here in pool play. And then, of course, championship bracket would follow. Silence across live fire temporarily, and this is going to be a difference now. What do you do with the camouflage if you're Rammyy?
Rammyy gets one. In a similar position to Pipz though, as he gets traded out 1-for-1. Perhaps a little bit more damage done, a little bit more of a successful camouflage play for him as he ensured B did not transfer. And all of a sudden they have got intentions on controlling C, which has been now reset with the help of Barcode, but Tylenul and Kuhlect putting damage down. Big 1v1 by Pipz, but they need to start capturing these strongholds because they're bleeding points.
Also, I have a theory, right? We've casted a lot of the European games. They were like, who can we put on the Australian games? Well, those Europeans, they sound quite similar to the Australians. In fact, I've been called Australian far too many times in North America for my liking. But actually, I kind of like it, because the Australians are really cool.
Yeah, but Australians are cooler.
They are cooler than me.
They are, yeah,
that's true.
Cooler.
You know what's not cool? Another trip cap. Spacestation, A, B, and C. They know where Chiefs are as well, because you saw that little touch of red in C. So that means they can collapse onto the ANZ squad.
Spacestation for to lock in that submission maneuver, waiting for the Chiefs to tap out.
Way to victory.
Is this more than an ankle lock? Will this be more detrimental to their health? Another triple cap, and A is going to be the first point of contact. Looks as though they are going to apply some pressure to it, and Slayz is the first one to drop, and they have not converted A. Only now have they. And that's just going to trigger the response from Spacestation to collapse on the bases. Rammy's the first one to fall, but it's 3 dead for the Chiefs. They're on life support.
I think this is what I was trying to suggest about the speed of which North America play this game, right? Chiefs, they're trying to think about how they break out of a base, how they should push, how they should try and stop this setup. But before they've even had the chance to have that thought, Spacestation are already drilling 2 of them. They're already getting a double kill. They're already then starting to pinch them completely. And there's a very significant lead on that scoreboard now, 173-20. Finally, the Chiefs start to score, but Rammy's got another camo.
Got the camo. He's got Pipz in between the crosshairs. Getting tagged up in the back from Nest, and that'll be enough to put him away. Camouflage has not been as influential as we would have liked, but 3 dead gut now for the boys on Spacestation. Ace last man alive. He gets a double, but will go down and pay the price. We will now see C get transferred, but the one remaining member, the first spawner of Spacestation, is controlling B.
And the likelihood is now we're starting to look towards a 3-0. Chiefs starting in that elimination bracket round 1, where they would face one of the open bracket teams who came through the elimination bracket of the open bracket. I said bracket a lot of times there. I know, it was very confusing. Do you know one of those teams who is in the elimination bracket?
Another bracket.
Blackhand. A team that Chiefs were able to take down the previous roster. Of course, they weren't called Blackhand, they were called something else in that previous tournament. But maybe there's a rematch on the horizon, and maybe that's something that Chiefs will be looking forward to potentially if they cannot find a result here.
I thought for sure you were going to say bracket hand. You didn't. But Tylenul over towards Sandbags now. Lands the body shot, and that should help his teammate, and does. Pipz under bridge. About to lose his wig. Tylenul hits the shields. It's the headshot with the battle rifle to clean it up. It's clean up on live fire. The Spacestation Janders coming in, sweeping away. And the Aussies, they're reeling.
240-25, and we're in the final stages now of this game. Spacestation, it's job done. It's what they were expected to do. As for the Chiefs, though, they've given it a fantastic effort. The final points are going to tick over. Or are they? Okay, B and C currently being taken. Chiefs want to elongate this one and maybe delay the inevitable at this point.
Chiefs have come a long way. They want to play as much Halo as they can. But is it all for nothing? Do they have that opportunity now? Is the comeback on the cards? 2 dead apiece. Camouflage for Barcode and Sniper Rifle. They're starting to control C. Barcode recognizes this, takes A. Sniper Rifle in his hands. Leaving it for a teammate. Body shot, Tylenul. Dispatched Ace. Over towards Nest. Still peeking. Wants a bit of the Sniper Rifle. It will connect. And a repulsor play. The top C. The Chiefs aren't trying to go out. They're not trying to go gentle into that good night.
I tell you what, we've seen some massive comebacks on Strongholds, so maybe I was too quick to predict this one ending, but at 247-55, this would be genuinely the biggest comeback we've ever seen on a HCS main stage. Maybe Chiefs want to be a part of that story. Sometimes you just need your back to the wall to start playing good Halo, right? You have to be forced to play perfect. And Barco with a Sniper Rifle in hands is starting to lead the charge, but now he falls. That could be the beginning of the end.
2 down, 4 up for Spacestation. They control B, and now attention's to A. It is controlling now. Nobody on the side of the Chiefs in a position to take it over. Barcode slides in, trying to delay the inevitable. More shots into the body. He gets 1. He controls B. Ace though, behind enemy lines. Rammyy last man alive.
Chiefs are not rolling over and allowing Spacestation to just walk away with this one. They're closing in on 100 points. They're making a game of this now, but where was this earlier? Oh! Barcode! You're not going to get many chances on main stage, but I tell you what, when he does, he always puts on a show for us.
103 and climbing. Can they perform the incredible, the unbelievable triple cap for the Chiefs?
I mean, surely not, right? Surely Spacestation cannot throw this one away, but they are starting to play scared. They are worried when they push. They are worried about what could happen here with the Chiefs playing this successfully, but Tylenul with a double kill maybe could be even more. Starting to bring belief back into this SSG roster. B currently being taken, C in control. Surely the last 2 points.
1 more point, and there it is. Spacestation with the cleanest sweep. 250 to 132.
It's a 3-0. It's job done. It's business as usual. It's what was expected of Spacestation, but the Spartan of Spacestation will dance. But we will remember the performance of Chiefs. They really did show up, and they gave it some heart.
They showed heart, grit, and determination. But it was not enough in these pools. Now they have a run in the elimination bracket. You see the Space Station Chief hyping up the crowd. There is Ubernick, that handsome man.
I knew there was some ruckus in the crowd for a reason.
He's always causing some sort of storm.
Some SSG chants on the go, and Ubernick leading them. But smiles all round on the side of Chiefs. They know they played extremely impressive, and I think they are going to cause some real trouble to these open bracket teams that are going to be entering that elimination bracket. As for SSG, how far can they go would be my question. They've shown at times they look like they could break into that top 16. At other times they look like maybe they'll be deflated and be down even lower than that. And I think an organization like SSG and some of the players that we're seeing on this roster as well, we're almost expecting them to be in those upper stages, that top 16, even the discussion for top 12 maybe.
Well, they made changes since Anaheim. They were not happy with their performances. They've come into this and absolutely ran through the open bracket. They have finally registered a win in pool play, and that will put them in the 4th position